Welcome, everybody. Hello. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, Doug, for kicking us off. As Brendan mentioned, I'm VP of Platform Enablement at Element 451. That's really a fancy way of saying that I get the privilege of working with all of our partners and all of our customers on finding ways to optimize Element to help y'all reach your goals, your student engagement goals, your retention goals. So I'm thrilled to be here to share a little bit of insider baseball, a little bit of how we kind of get some stuff done and how we can help our partners. But I always like to start by setting the stage. I think we all know that most higher ed marketing and enrollment teams are stretched just a little thin these days, right? You're running campaigns, you're handling events, you're answering student questions, you're trying to brand differentiate, against all the other institutions that look and sound like you. I heard somebody say something about tone. Tone is so important when it comes to communicating to students. And AI promises to help, right? But if your prompts are bad, then you'll get generic, messy, useless results, right? So the secret is in learning how to ask in a way that makes your AI act like that good consultant instead of that bad intern. So if you think about this in the way that you're thinking about ordering coffee, a bad prompt is like walking into Starbucks and saying coffee, please. That barista's going to laugh at you. She's going to write your weird name on your coffee cup and send you on your way. You don't know what you're going to get in that coffee cup, right? But if you change your order to something like a grande oat milk latte, one pump caramel, light foam, which by the way is my Starbucks order, so I will be taking those as a form of payment. If you like this session, send me that Starbucks. Then you know exactly what you're getting. So you're communicating exactly what you want, and you're going to get exactly what that order is. I also added the please. Always be nice to your AI. I think it's the Midwestern in me, but you never know. So I always caution and tell folks, say please and thank you. What does the anatomy of a good prompt look like? And if you attended Artis' session yesterday on prompting like it's not 2024, he really laid the groundwork for what's changed in GPT-5 and what makes GPT-5 better now. So when we think about how we're going to approach these prompts, what's going to make it successful, there are 5 things that I want y'all to think about. The first is the role. So you can give GPT a role like a brand strategist, an admissions counselor, a research analyst, a prospective student, right? GPT-5 sticks to those roles more consistently than those previous versions. You're going to focus on clarity over rigidity. So you don't have to overspecify every detail. Artis said this yesterday, right? You can be more broad, but the goal here is to be clear. You want to use natural conversational instructions, shorter prompts, but with a much clearer intent. The third thing you want to think about is that ChatGPT-5 is multi-output ready. So when we say this, what we're really saying is you're going to ask it for multiple versions. You're going to ask it for a parent and a student. You're going to ask it for your strategical and your tactical like outputs. GPT-5 handles that audience switching without losing its thread really, really well. The fourth thing is thinking about context, right? So I think I heard somebody say, if content is king, then context is queen. And context-rich inputs is really where you need to go. Go beyond words. Give it reports. Give it PDFs. Give it spreadsheets, screenshots. GPT-5 can actually ground its responses in the data and in the media that you're providing it. And the last thing, and this is probably my favorite, is the iterative chains. So instead of cramming everything into that one big master prompt like we are used to doing prior on the other versions, think of it in steps. So you're going to start broad, you're going to refine, you're going to translate. GPT-5 really handles these iterations and these chains really, really well. So let's go ahead and get into your first 50,000, dollar idea here. I'm going to say maybe this is a 10K and then we add up all 5 and that'll get you to 50,000. But here's your first prompt here. Instant student personas. So instead of paying your agency and spending weeks building your student personas, drop this prompt into GPT. Act as a prospective student considering your institution or institution type. Create 3 personas with demographics, motivations, barriers, key messages, and put it all in a table. I'm going to toggle over here because I do not have Brendan's live demo skills. Something always inevitably goes wrong when I live demo. So I did my homework, put all these in beforehand, and want to show you the structured table that came out here. So I put in 2-year community college, that's the prospective student, that's the persona that I was looking for. And GPT gave me Maria, the career switcher, a 34-year-old Latina, single mother working part-time as a retail supervisor. Here are her motivations. She wants to upskill into healthcare. Here are her barriers. She has limited childcare options and the key messaging that's going to work for her. Community colleges are flexible, affordable. They're built for working parents. Short-term healthcare certificates can launch you into a new career really quickly, and we offer support services like childcare. So it's just a nice way. We'll get into a little bit deeper and where we go beyond these, but that's a great place for us to start. Let's go ahead and look at our second one here. So this is our competitive edge finder. This one's boardroom gold. If you got board of trustees that you're reporting out to, I'm going to recommend this one. You're going to put in, you are a brand strategist and a student focus group moderator. You're going to compare your institution with and insert your 3 peer schools using their website. You can either post the URLs directly, or you can post screenshots. Generate 5 positioning statements that feel specific and student friendly and usable as ads and web copy. So for those of you who know a little bit about me, I spent almost 7 years on campus at Skidmore College, a small private liberal arts institution in upstate New York. So I said, you know what, let me go back to my glory days and type in Skidmore and 3 of its peer institutions. So I asked it to compare Skidmore, Vassar, Colgate, and Connecticut colleges using their websites. Full disclosure, friends, this is pretty lazy, right? Like I just said, the websites didn't put in the URLs, didn't do any screenshots, basically didn't do anything that I just told you all to do. And I got a really nice output here, right? So it compared Skidmore to the other 3. It gave me a strategic angle. It's like, hey, do you want to focus on curricular freedom? Do you want to focus on shared academics? Do you want to focus on structured integration from day one? Like, what are you looking for here? And this is what it's recommending here. So if anybody's familiar with Skidmore, their tagline, I know I could do a whole nother 15 minutes on taglines, are they so 2024? But their tagline is creative thought matters. And so it nailed it, a college where creativity isn't a class, it's the culture. And if you know much about Skidmore, this is actually really true. The students really embody that creative thought matters, and creativity really does seep into different aspects of their curriculum and on campus. So you can refine these. We'll get into this a little bit. Some of these feel a little vague. Bring the ambition, we'll close the gap. But you all are experts at your campuses. You know the nuance, the tone, the vibe of your students. So you can refine accordingly and start interacting with GPT-5 to make sure that you're getting the right messages there. All right, prompt 3 here, your AI admissions counselor. So this is where you make staff training easy. Pretend you're an admissions counselor. Write 5 personalized responses to FAQs about cost, transfer credits, and housing. I can't see you all, but if you all want to do a show of hands of how many times you've had to answer the same damn question over and over again, every time an incoming class comes in, this prompt is for you. Yes, thank you. I see those hands going up here. You will instantly have a set of responses that your team can use for onboarding and for consistency. Because if I had to answer a question that was different from somebody else's over and over again, now you've got your consistency here. So I gave it some pretty, light parameters here. I said cost, transfer credits, housing. And let's see what it comes up with for tuition and financial aid, scholarships, transfer credits, right? Housing, on campus, off campus support. Like, I did not feed this. This is all the new model that's giving this back to us. After it gave me those talking points, it offered, hey, do you want to put this into a staff training document to model that warm, clear tone, that supportive approach? And I said, sure, why not? Now it gives me a script. And actually, GPT is really good at role playing too. So you could even take this a step farther and say, hey, let's turn the script into role playing. And then you can start that dialogue with people. Or you can start that dialogue with yourself and get your staff trained. Love that one. That one came in handy for me. All right, this one, we always like to challenge ourselves here at Element 451. My colleagues will tell you I am horrible at math. If it's got a number in front of it, I usually run away screaming. So I said, let's do an ROI calculator. You're a financial aid advisor using this program outcome data, and you can attach a spreadsheet, you can attach a summary, you can attach a pivot table. I don't know what a pivot table is, but if that's where your numbers live, then attach it. Explain the ROI of the degree in plain language. Write one version for a skeptical parent and one version for a first gen student. Now, I hope some of our partners are watching, but I am going to put Forsyth Tech on the in the spotlight here. So I found a PDF of a program effectiveness data for their radiation technology program, and I used that prompt. I gave it the URL for that radiation therapy, radiation tech program, and I said, give me your talking points. I love this one. So here's what's different about what GPT-5 is going to give you versus what your campus counselor is going to give you. For the skeptical parent, they kept it real, right? They said, if my child spends time and money earning this, will it pay off or will it be a gamble? It shows you the how it got there, you know, what it was analyzing, the thought process that it went through, the risks, the verdict. But I want to scroll down and actually get down to the talking points that it says here. This is not a guaranteed gold mine, but it stacks up as one of the safer bets in education. Modest, upfront cost, relatively short training period, strong demand in healthcare, and middle class salary. Y'all, that's important. Like, it's hard for somebody who's employed at an institution to be that transparent and that honest, right? But GPT-5 can do that for you and can cut through those barriers and say, hey, you know, this may not be a sure bet, but it's a solid bet, and you can walk in knowing that. For the first gen student, I actually really loved its talking point too. It's not effortless. You'll have to work hard. If you finish, pass, get a job, and earn back your investment. If you don't, you still gain knowledge, skills, and credibility. As a first gen student, that kind of optionality is powerful. That's true, right? And now I'm not saying you're going to take these verbatim and use them for your students, but I do think that there is a lesson to learn here and how we can be more transparent and how we can better serve our students. All right, last one I got here is our deep research analyzer here. So this is, you are a higher ed marketer, you're a higher ed analyst, sorry. Review these sources and you can paste your article links, you can PDF, you can upload reports. Synthesize the 5 biggest enrollment or marketing trends relevant to the institution type, include citations, and highlight opportunities we can act on immediately. I want to pause before I show this and just emphasize how much time you're going to save with this one. This saves days of manual work. This saves you looking through NACAC reports, Chronicle articles, peer strategy decks. It really positions your marketing team well here. But the big key takeaway and impact here is the amount of time you're going to save and that you have relevant citations to go back to. So this one's actually my favorite. Sorry, I'm going to scroll up here because I did not come from financial aid. I come from marketing. And I actually had to ask ChatGPT a few iterative questions because I didn't know what any of this meant. So again, here I focused on community colleges and what those trends are and what those risks are. Missed melt and missed intense, right? The K through 12 pipeline shrinks. We've all been talking about that enrollment cliff. Dual enrollment is growth with hidden drag. Funding shifts to outcomes. I was just talking to our partner TVCC on Monday. Texas passed a bill last year that focuses on outcomes, and this is how community colleges are receiving their funding now. It's no longer based on enrollment. It's based on how you can get students out into the workforce, and that's becoming more and more common. Credential competition, right? Non-degree employer branded certifications from Google. Y'all are competing with Google now. So you can see, I see Brendan popping on here. You can see that you can get really into these citations, these articles, these trends, the analyses, and you can ask it. See here, I was like, what is PBF? And it's like, oh, hey, it's okay, Daniela. That's performance-based funding. I had a few of those questions through there. I
Teaching you
know.
along the way.
Yes. A couple of final thoughts here. I did have a bonus one that you can actually iterative chain that last one. So take a look at the deck and split it up into two if you would like. But remember, y'all, AI is a strategy, not a step.
Mm.
You bring the expertise, AI brings the speed, and the institutions that win, y'all are launching a new way to work. So go out, go forth, and AI and prompt like your agency consultants.